Hello there, and welcome to episode 7, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. Am I saying it really longly because I forgot to remember the title name before the episode? Abso-fucking-lutely. Driftmark. Episode 7, Driftmark.
Driftmark?
Yes, the whole episode happens at Driftmark.
That it does.
And what an episode it was. Joining me as always, this Sith Holocron Naomi.
We're 4 days late like usual, so we'll get 3 views on this. Let's fucking go.
Poggo. Woohoo.
Pog moment.
And it is I, the Jedi Holocron Tyler. And we had a wedding where no one died! Let's go!
True, we did. It's because no one else was there.
There was 5 other people there.
That's not a lot of people.
Actually, maybe 6.
They didn't invite Allison's people, that's why.
I mean, because that's smart.
No, yeah, I wasn't saying it was a bad thing.
Just the children.
Just the children.
What did you think of Driftmark?
Wild.
Wild times in the kingdom.
Very dark, not in terms of, like tone, I mean in terms of actual visuals.
Lightning.
I could not see for a good, 10 minutes.
It's okay. You didn't miss much. Just a poorly shot sex scene and just
No, I was talking about when
the daemon, the dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't miss much.
I mean, he was claiming a dragon, and all I saw was a black screen.
No, we saw him claim the dragon fully lit.
Yeah, the lighting came in at the end.
Yeah.
Once the dragon started taking off, then the lighting turned on.
Yeah. Seeing him, despite me too, feeling very, very bad for him last episode, and kind of him being like, he's the only one I kind of like. He's the one I hate the most, Poggo. You don't come at Daemon and Rhaenyra's children. You ain't stealing their dragon.
Yeah. I love the child fight scene.
Yeah, it was great.
I love the little kid, I think Lucerys.
Yeah.
I love his battle roars. He had the yell of the I have the power of God and anime on my side, kid.
Yes.
And he truly did.
Yeah, the curly hair one, right?
The younger one.
Yeah, the younger one. I don't know which one's which.
I'm pretty sure the younger one's Luke, because the older one is Jace.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their third kid's name is, because it's a baby right now.
What?
Remember, Rhaenyra has a third kid.
Does she?
Yeah, the first episode after the time skip, she was giving birth.
Oh, yeah. Where is that kid in this episode?
It's a baby. I would assume that, the handmaidens were watching after it.
I forgot about that kid.
Yeah, she gave birth to a third kid. And they named it Joffrey.
And she's gonna have another one.
And she's gonna have Daemon's kid. She's just trying to breed an army.
That's how I knew at the very beginning. After the first episode, I saw the family tree of her and Daemon having a kid, and I'm like, oh, that's happening. But it makes me feel better because I didn't think they were gonna get married.
Yeah, true. Also, then that, I feel like that's also gonna be... I feel like Rhaenyra's kid with Daemon and her other kids are gonna clash a lot.
I mean, there'll be such an age difference between them that...
But I just mean, father, their, their parentage.
Yeah.
I don't think her 3 bastards are going to be treated well.
Oh, yeah.
Such is the fate of bastards.
Oh, yeah, the other one's name's Joffrey.
Yeah, Joffrey. Those 3 other boys, they are not going to be treated well.
No.
They are going to be pushed aside for the actual Targaryen child.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I feel like they're, it depends what...
But also, though, if you do that, that's them admitting that her other 3 sons are bastards.
Yeah, I don't think she'll do that.
Yeah.
Because the only person who can really do that is them.
But I also feel like there is going to be infighting.
No.
When the kids are more grown.
I think the infighting will be more Daemon just being chaotic.
Daemon just being...
Because he's been pretty tame the last 2 episodes. He's been pretty normal. He hasn't been, doing shenanigans.
He's gonna become unhinged.
I mean, they both got what they've always wanted. Each other.
Yeah. But he also...
But we'll see if he wants the throne from her.
Yeah.
It'll be like first deal with Alicent and and the boys, and then like what happens after that?
Rhaenyra becomes queen, and then Daemon turns on her.
Right.
Kills all of their children.
I'm the king. That would not happen. If that happened, I would stop watching the show.
Yeah, that would.
I'd be like, I need Rhaenyra. I need the queen.
Yeah, I like kid fighting. I like that they cut that little fucker's eye out.
Yeah, it was very satisfying.
Man, this is why you don't give men dragons.
He's the Sir Kristen of dragon getting. Gets a dragon once and becomes a cocky prick of a...
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect, when a kid gets the fucking behemoth?
See, but honestly, though, he wins.
Yeah.
He lost an eye, but he gets a dragon, and then if you watch the trailer, the flash forward, he looks like a badass with an eye patch. Like, he looks dope.
He also looks really tall.
Yeah, he looks in the Flash thing, in the next episode we're flashing forward another 6 years, I think, he looks older than Joffrey. Not Joffrey, Aegon.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's the one that is going to be actually gunning for the throne on that side. Like after Alicent and Otto.
I still think they'll be gunning for the firstborn to be on the throne, but he'll be a big harbinger of the chaos.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be a big, like the little kid said in the posting, like, the villain is, like, he becomes the villain here.
He gets a little taste of power, and now he's just a villain.
I mean, like, shit, you have an eye patch, you're a villain, You're a villain or a pirate, like...
One or the other. Yeah, pretty wild. Also pretty fucking wild they steals the dragon, like, at the funeral.
I know.
So much shit that happened in this episode is so much more disrespectful when you remember they're here for a funeral.
Yeah. Like, it's even... I don't know if, like... what I'm gonna be kind of charitable to Aemon here. I don't think he's like, I'm gonna claim this dragon. I just think he saw a dragon as like, I want a dragon. I want to ride one. I want one to love me. And then he's like, oh shit, wait, this is my dragon now? I'm a bitch. I'm a bad motherfucker. And then rightfully loses an eye.
Yeah, rightfully loses an eye. And also, they threw fucking dust in his eye beforehand, so that would get infected.
Mm-hmm. That's why the eye's gone.
Well, I mean,
the assist. They
also just sewed the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And, cornea's probably cut.
Oh, yeah. Probably, yeah. Like the actual eyeball's probably cut, so it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people to get, like, the over-eye scar...
Yeah.
It needs to be, like, just, like, the tip of the blade that grazes you, so that it, like, goes over your forehead bump and then just goes straight to the cheek without touching the eye.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe gets a little bit of eyelid.
Oh, yeah.
But he got, like, a little bit of a deeper cut.
Yeah. That scene was so funny because, like... He got so cocky and, like, he was like, I'm gonna murder you. Yeah. Like, he grabbed the rock and I'm like, okay. Whatever happens to this kid, I don't give a fuck no more.
Yeah, well, it's like, to begin with, he just fucking punches the shit out of the two girls.
Yeah, I'm like...
whose mother just died.
Right.
And they're at her funeral, and he just punches them in the face.
Yeah, fucking out of pocket as hell.
Arguably the most out of pocket. Is there anything more out of pocket than punching, a relative at a funeral who's grieving?
Yeah, their mom.
After you stole
their mom's dragon.
After you stole their pet, basically?
Yeah.
That is out of pocket.
It's fucking wild.
I feel like Alicent had a very much like a super Cersei-esque moment.
Yeah, she had her mask off moment.
Mask off moment, just like, no, take one of their fucking eyes.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't compare her to Cersei.
I think just like that in particular feels straight out of Cersei's repertoire.
People compare her a lot to Cersei online. I'm like, I hate this bitch more than Cersei.
No.
And I'm like, one, I understand maybe hating her as much as Cersei, but Cersei's just on another level as a villain.
Yeah,
Not that Allison's a bad villain. I like Allison as a villain a lot because she's really tragic. But, like, people be comparing her to Cersei. I'm like, nah. I have a little sympathy for her. But the more the show goes on, it's harder and harder to hold on to that sympathy.
Yeah. I just mean that specific act.
Yeah.
Was, like, very Cersei.
Yeah. Well, like, because Cersei loved her kids and would do anything for her kids. So it's, like, one of the few things she actually cared about.
Just the literal eye for an eye mentality.
Yeah.
And then trying to do it herself.
Yeah.
DIY, eye for an eye.
That's the scene I had been waiting for, because I'd seen pictures of them doing that, like her holding the blade at Rhaenyra.
We saw it in the preview.
I'm like, this shit gonna be fire.
Yeah.
And it was.
I feel like, you know... I feel like the person that I find myself feeling the most sympathy and empathy for is King Viserys.
Yeah.
My man is just trying to not have a war start at the second of his death.
Yeah. Him and Laenor just they don't do anything wrong. I mean, like, I feel bad for those two the most out of anyone in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Laenor, they didn't do anything. Yeah. I get, you know, that's kind of Viserys' problem, is that he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But, like, he's just trying.
Yeah. He's not a bad guy.
This was all just thrust upon him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to him calling Alicent Aemma his last wife's name.
Yeah, you know,
she kind of deserved it.
The disease is spread to his brain at this point, too. Yeah. He's also, like, really fucking old at this point. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
I think it's really fascinating because the guy in the post, like, behind the scenes thing, so this was one of the first scenes they shot of, like, the show. And I think that's, like, really fascinating, too, because, like, he's, like, the way he described it, like, how they didn't actually know each other very well, and, like, helped with the scene of that, like, them being all distant from each other with all the little random shit that was going on.
Yeah.
And Dane was just like, I'm gonna lean.
I like the idea that he's a leaner.
Yeah, he's a leaner.
Just enjoying the chaos.
Yeah, you're just sitting there ready for a strike Vermont. Time hasn't been well to you either, king or whatever.
But the gods have been even crueler to you.
Yeah.
Which they have. Been extremely cruel to Viserys. Extremely. Also, fucking Otto Hightower.
So proud that his daughter's not just like... You see, he's like, I didn't think it was in you, right? But I'm like, the reason it's in her is because you fucking broke her by making her do her duty.
Yeah, Otto is continually being the true villain.
Yeah.
The maximum level villain. Right. He's at fault for everything. Fucking Otto Hightower. Why doesn't Viserys have more friends that could be Hand of the King?
Right? The good one, the good one had to go fucking die.
The good one had to go get burned to death by his son.
Which is actually really funny, because if you think about it, all four of them were actually grieving in that little fight with the kid fight. Like, you don't fuck with these kids.
Yeah, they're royalty, they're grieving.
It made me so happy when they were, like, all beating on him while he was on the ground.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible to say, but it was great.
I mean, he was about to, like, kill them. He's the one who accelerated it.
Yeah.
Jace just pulled out a dagger to defend himself.
To defend his brother.
His little anime screeching brother.
I'm gonna miss the screams so much.
I kind of hope that we get another one.
From older.
or from Joffrey.
True.
He'd be like the age that they all are. Or a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like 6.
Yeah, he'll be 6.
He was just born.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get little anime screeches from him.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I also like Aemond being like, yeah, I'd fuck my sister.
I don't like that. How can you like that but be so anti-Daemon and Rhaenyra?
I was being sarcastic.
I don't believe you. I think you're like, Aemon, yeah, because I don't like you, so go do your stupid incest. It's easy.
You know what? Also that, too. Yeah, a little bit of that, too, because I like Rhaenyra.
There are tiers to incest. There's, like, it's a pyramid, right? At the bottom of the pyramid, where, like, incest, like, goated incest, which you root for, which is, like, Jon and Daenerys. And then the tier below that's Daemon and Rhaenyra. And then, like, at the bottom is Jaime and Cersei, because you're like, I don't like any of this.
Because you're like, I like Jaime. I just don't like Daemon and Rhaenyra together. I hate it.
Daemira.
I hate it.
I'm full on the... Rhaenyra's never as happy as she is when she's never... You never see her happier than when Daemon's around. Like, especially in the wedding episode, like the last one with the young ones, and like this episode at the wedding, like her smile, I'm like, she's just happy. I'm happy for her. I don't give a fuck.
I don't like it. But it's what I've come to expect. Incest.
It's Game of Thrones. If you can't, you
gotta have some.
You
incest.
gotta root for incest in Game of Thrones, because you can't because you don't root for it in real life. So like in fiction, it's fine.
At least I hope you don't root for it in real life. Yeah, and like obviously, we know what happens with the Targaryens going forward, where they just like go.
They all go away. They all die.
Yeah, and they all go like insane from just incestuous birth defects. So, like, yeah, it's gonna happen.
I don't see... yeah, that's part of it, but, like... I feel like just, like, the monarch and the kingdom is meant for insanity. Like, Alicent's a perfect example. No incest there.
Absolutely.
And between that, like, the genetic part, and then, like, having to deal with that shit, I'm like, you're gonna go insane, Yeah,
because it's also, like, the further generations of incest, they're gonna be less built to handle the stresses and bullshit that happens in the kingdom, so it just gets worse.
Yeah.
Gross. This is why monarchies should only exist in fiction.
Yes.
Awesome storytelling, horrific in practice.
Yeah. You gotta admit, though, the line of "we were meant to burn together," how can you not love that? That's so fucking poetic and beautiful. Like,
I like the line, I just don't. Ugh. I also still just don't trust Daemon at all.
I feel like they've done a good job, like I said, the last 2 episodes, of making him very much like, you're kind of forgetting all the shit he's done.
Yeah.
Because he's been, like, a background character ever since the wedding episode, to be honest. He's just been, like, chilling. Well, but also there was, like, the 10 years where he was just married to Elena.
And leaning.
Yeah. I'm a leaner.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah.
At all. Which is also part of it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't trust him.
I mean, she said, like, I like them together for the fact, like I said, to make sure you're happy, but I also like them together strategically too, like for war, because like they made a lot of great points of like it'll secure the claim to like her throne, because like you got like of the 3 claims to the throne, it's Daemon, Rhaenyra, and Aegon, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have 2 of them together, so it like strengthens them, and they got their dragon. We need to see Rhaenyra on a dragon again. I'm ready for these.
Yeah.
These dragons are going to fight each other, and I'm ready for it.
Have we seen her dragon since the first episode?
I don't think so. Maybe like once since then, but
yeah, we need to see her dragon again. I want to see it so I can remember its name.
Yeah.
Because I don't know its name.
Syrax, right?
Syrax?
Syrax.
Oh, Syrax.
Yeah. Sayryx or something like that.
CerYx. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
So wait, I should have known that the other dragon was the daughter's, because like the daughter's dragon is Dreamfire.
Oh yeah.
Who is rumored to be the mother of Drogon and all those dragons, all Daenerys' dragons.
Damn. It lives for that long?
I mean, the eggs gotta hatch, like, through fire or whatever.
Oh, so the eggs just, like, can stay inert for, like, a long-ass time? Oh.
Yeah, but remember they, were talking about how, like, I forgot which one of them. They said their drag, like...
It was
Lena. Lena's drag... Yeah, Vagar didn't hatch for 15 years.
That explains why he's so big.
Yeah.
He spent extra time baking.
Yeah.
In the womb of the egg. But, yeah, I mean, that, 15 years is one thing, but, like, 200 is another.
But we don't know how long they're around for.
Yeah, that's fair. We don't know how old.
And let's be honest, we've already been through almost, like, 20 years.
True.
So, like, she probably won't have the eggs until, like, way later.
Yeah, I wonder how long dragons live in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I feel like they live unless, like...
Because I feel like...
But I feel like every dragon that dies is by, like, fighting or war or, like, getting murdered. Like... What dragon's actually just, like, gonna live their life and, like, die of natural causes?
Didn't Baelor die of natural causes? The big one?
I do not know.
In the castle? I know that's, like, the biggest one that ever existed.
I mean, like, are we sure it didn't, like, crash into the ground and they just left its skull there under the castle and they rebuilt the castle? How else are you getting that skull underground?
I mean, there's a reason why it's just the skull.
Yeah.
They used all of their manpower to get the skull down there. Yeah, because I feel like maybe Balon would be like, if dragons didn't always die from combat, Balon would be less, like, super rare. Mm-hmm. But also, Vagar's not, like, remarkably older than the other dragons, so their size can vary.
Yeah. Interesting how it works. It was also, like, when does their, like, they start when they're hatched, too, so, like, Vagar's the biggest, but he's technically also, like, the youngest. Or one of the youngest. Of, like, not despite, like, the kids' dragons.
Yeah, not the kids' dragons.
But, like...
Vagar would be the youngest of, like, the adult people's dragons.
Yeah. I keep forgetting, like, fucking Jace and them have dragons, too. There's so many dragons.
Yeah, Jace and Luke have one. Yeah. And then they got an egg for Joffrey, too.
Yeah.
And then we saw in the trailer for the next episode, it looked like Daemon was grabbing an egg.
Probably for his kid. Yeah.
So many dragons.
Yeah. So many dragons are gonna die.
And I still, like...
That's why I was like, it's really good that we got a third dragon. We needed it.
Yeah.
And the wars to come.
I still, like... Have we ever found out if Viserys has a dragon?
I don't think so. They talk about it. He either died or he, like, when he was younger, or, like, he just never got one.
Man, that's wild. Well, no, because Daemon has one, so you think it has to have died then, because you think they'd give it to the older kid first. You know?
Or, like, his egg just never hatched, like...
Yeah, true. Maybe that.
Wait, why did Aemon not have a dragon?
They didn't have enough eggs.
Yeah, that probably happened for Viserys, too.
Yeah, but also Viserys was the oldest. I feel like they would have given him Bloodworm, like, if there was no option. Because, you know how much they prefer the firstborn sons.
I'm probably making a mistake here.
No, don't read through the wiki. He's making the mistake of looking at Wikipedia right now.
Yeah, even though I kind of already knew. Does he not have a dragon?
I have no idea. I would assume it died when he was younger. That would be my assumption.
Oh my god!
What?
I saw too many spoilers.
Oh my god.
I know how Viserys dies now.
Oh god.
Like, it's clear he's dying, but I know how he dies.
God damn it. I told you not to Google.
Yeah.
Told you to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
God damn it. I'm just going to assume that he had a dragon that died.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense.
Or like Aemon, they just didn't have enough eggs for him.
It's weird for the king to have not gotten one, but his brother got one.
Yeah. But he makes a reference in one of the earlier episodes about all the dragon riders. And I'm like, I think they kind of talk about it there, but
maybe, I don't know. There's so much dialogue.
Yeah.
in so many characters.
But but to get back on track, the show, I loved, like, the whole scene in the after the fight was just immaculate.
Yeah.
Just, like, King Viserys just fucking going off, and then, like, the way fucking Rhaenyra baits Alicent, and then even just, like, the little things of, like I said, Daemon leaning, just observing, and then, like, the one thing he does do, which is great, is he stops Kristen and he's just like, I'm not getting involved, but you're staying out of this too. Like, he doesn't get himself involved.
He steps in and he's like, we're not getting involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Kristen.
God, I hate him.
I hate him so much.
I'm honestly shocked he didn't go after the eye.
I thought he was going to.
Honestly, that would have been, like, more of, like, compelling of, like, it would have ruined, like, the Rhaenyra and Alicent moment. Like, that wouldn't be able to happen, which I love. But, like, it would have been interesting to see how it played out that way.
Of course. I mean, also, though, like, it's the smart decision, because I feel like Viserys would have just been like, arrest Kristen.
Yeah. Like, how are you still here? You murdered Joffrey.
Yeah, right. That aside, also, like, Alicent trying to circumvent the king, like...
Yeah.
You may have control of Kristen. He controls the rest of the King's Guard.
Yeah. I also really like how, like, no matter what, Viserys has the soft spot for Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Out of everyone.
It's his firstborn.
Yeah.
And I feel like he still carries so much guilt over letting her mother die.
Yeah.
After actively choosing to kill her mother.
For a son she never had.
For a son that died immediately after. Yeah. I like his Rhaenyra soft spot.
Yeah. And then just, of course, the whole fucking... They're back, like, Rhaenyra's and Alicent's back and forth with the blade. Yeah. It's so like I said, like, Alicent is so tragic because, like, after, like, 3 episodes, I'm like, these women could be lovers.
I know!
And now they're mortal enemies. Maybe that plays into it, too. Like, the TikTok we watched, the guy was, like, joking, like, he said her sexual frustrations. Yeah. Like, we know that's true, like, and her righteousness, like... Rhaenyra said, I'm like, this is so good. I feel so bad for her, but also I don't.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, you can feel bad for what caused her to become this way, but that doesn't excuse what she's doing.
I want to live in the timeline where Alicent and Rhaenyra are just
the queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, the queen and the queen.
Where they have to team up together to fight Daemon, you know? Give me that what if. Like,
to fight
what if?
To fight Daemon and Laenor.
Yeah.
And they're married. Absolute gay-on-gay crime.
Okay, but the one thing that we haven't covered is apparently a big change from the book. Which is a great change because he deserves only peace and happiness. Laenor lives.
Yes.
They did not kill Laenor. Because that scene happened where I'm like, where him and Rhaenyra were talking or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's like, this isn't working anymore. And he's very much like, I'm ready to fully commit. And I'm like, ooh, fuck, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And I'm like they're at opposite points, but they both like, but then he also realizes that, like, you can't be happy, like he said, and then, like, do our duty and then be happy on the side or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, what is going to happen here?
He was ready to throw himself back into the closet.
I'm like, are we going to get our first divorce in the kingdom?
Yeah, that...
But then I forgot, like, oh, you can't...
Divorce doesn't exist.
You can't divorce. You have to die to get remarried.
Yep.
But I'm not going to lie, I realized pretty quickly what they were doing with the first time I saw it with the Laenor thing. I'm like, they're not killing him. At that point, I had no reason to believe Rhaenyra would kill him.
Yeah.
And also the monologue she was having, where not the monologue, but like where she was describing like how the scenario would, like, people would think we did it, and it would make them fear us, but we actually didn't do it. So we're like, we're double winning. We're letting Laenor be happy because, like, she's like, I actually love Laenor. Like, I mean, like, I love him. He loves my kids. I can't kill this man. Like,
yeah.
And like, but if people think we killed him, And they're like, what won't they do for the throne, you know?
I will say...
It's big brain play.
I'm very proud. The showrunners let the gay king live.
Yeah. I wonder how it's, like, described in the books, like, what happens in the books. If it's something similar, but, like, we just don't... They don't allude to the fact that they, like, covered it up. Or if, like, they just straight kill him in a different way.
Yeah, I don't know. I caught on when they came into the room and the body was in the fire.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you know that's Laenor? Burned the shit out of him. But, yeah, that makes... Yeah. I'm so glad that she didn't kill him, because I would have been sad about that.
Yeah. Don't
kill the gay king.
Nah.
He deserves so much better, and he gets so much better.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. And it also just makes more sense. Like, I don't know, like you said, I don't know how they did it in the book, but, like, hiring the guy's lover...
Yeah.
Is, like, maybe one of the worst ways you can go about it if you actually wanted to kill him. Mm-hmm. I get the idea of, like, oh, well, you know, it's a scorned lover scenario sort of thing.
Yeah, the moment he's on board, you're like, wait, why is he on board so easily?
He's gonna kill his love for a little bit of gold?
Yeah.
I do love Daemon's shady hood.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna commit evil. Like, he only wears a hood when he's committing evils.
Although in this case, he was committing, like, a good thing.
I mean, he did murder an innocent man. For a good cause, though.
Listen, in this universe, that is as close as you can get to doing a good thing, unless you're a Stark.
What's worse in Westeros universe, murder or incest?
Murder?
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. That doesn't mean incest is good, but it's not as bad as murder.
I firmly believe incest in George R. R. Martin's Westeros is not a bad thing.
It's good for...
It's not a good thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing in this universe.
I think it's a morally bad thing that's good for storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's like net neutral.
Yeah. Morally bad.
Story good.
Narrative compelling good, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very similar to monarchies in that way. I don't want it to happen in real life, but it makes for awesome storytelling.
Yeah. Just like because...
Monarchies, incest, murder. We got a lot of things that I like in fiction, but not in reality.
Catch me up. Were you rooting for Jon and Daenerys after you figured it out?
For Jon and Daenerys to be together?
Yeah, even after we figured out, like...
After we figured out that she was his aunt?
I feel like that's the most acceptable incest, because it's so far removed and neither of them knew. And, like, we had no reason, but, like, neither of them had no reason to believe they were family.
If I remember correctly, I was more neutral. Like, I wasn't, like, super... I was, like, more in support than against, but I also wasn't, like, hardcore.
Yeah. I just remember people were memeing on Twitter at the time. Like, I can't believe the whole timeline out here rooting for incest. I'm like, it's so funny.
I also, I don't really remember very well. That was pre-2020.
Yeah.
Might as well have been 100 years ago in my brain.
Troubling times. 2019. That was pre-2019.
It was pre-2019.
It was like 2018.
Honestly, anything pre-2021, I don't really remember that well.
Yeah.
I didn't really exist.
Well, yeah. Phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best of the season, if not the best.
I think it's my favorite of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely that or the wedding episode.
Just for the kid fight and the whole throne room after that is like...
Yeah, and also Tamara. It's official. It happened. Best episode.
You're right. It's not the best episode because it happened. Because that happened, you're right. No longer best episode.
Yeah. Every episode's fire, but yeah. This one.
Fire and blood.
A song of ice and blood and fire and wind.
It's a song of fire. A song of fire and water.
Okay, well, we're going to end this review now because we need to watch Andor.
We do.
So, goodbye. And until next time, like, subscribe, share, comment, and... We were meant to burn together.